everyone, this is Kathleen. I have another question for you. What are fancy folds anyway? And how are they useful in a junk journal? So I want to talk about one of my favorite journal elements today, and that is fancy folds. And some of you know why I love them, and maybe some of you don't. But today I want to show you how I use them in a journal. And finally, I want to give you another variation, obviously, another way, cute way to make a fancy fold you can put in a journal. I tend to like to use like separate papers. I don't know why, but I am often intimidated by just writing, in a book. This is my weight loss journal that I kept back in 2020 when I was on a program to lose weight. And so I made this journal just out of, a cereal box. And it was specifically just to take notes and keep track of my progress. But so I end up using just papers to journal on. And then I need a way to put it in the journal. And so I often make these folds and then that helps hold it. This is just a quarter fold. And then I have, written down the thoughts that I wanted. This is a personal food choice map. And so then I fold that up and I want to keep that here. And so then I just fold it over one of the shorts that I like to put in. Part of the reason why I like to use shorts is because I don't want to always have to write a whole page in a journal. I just want to write something small. And so if I can write something small, then I can slip it in a pocket or a tuck spot. And those are my favorite elements in a journal. But I also like these larger pieces of paper that I end up getting folded up inside. So this is one of the journals that I kept during COVID to kind of document that. And let me just kind of show you. I love these using little pockets, and then there's pages of my writing that I can then just slip in there. So we're all familiar with tags and journaling cards and how they fit into a pocket. You just write a little note on the back and then slide it in there. Let's see here again. I like using, different papers and then sliding them in a pocket. But sometimes I have, a large piece of paper that I want to put in, and maybe the pockets are full, or maybe I want to go back and put it in a particular place in the journal and there's no pocket there. So that's where fancy folds come in for me. So let me show you an example of a fancy fold. So I have, by the way, a whole playlist that you can go look at for these different folds that I like to use. This is, okay, so we start with a journal. So I'm working in this farmhouse journal still. So this is a paper that I can use as a journal paper. It's just digital prints on two sides of the paper, right? And then I just fold it up and fold it over, and then I have my fancy fold. So this fancy fold has its fancy on the inside, right? So not only does that give me a whole paper to journal on that's like a floating journal page in the journal, but it also gives me two pockets that I can put other little ephemera in. Okay, so this is examples of ephemera. If I want to save, a business card, then I can just tuck it in there, and I can write, as you saw me do in my COVID journal. I can write just something short on a smaller piece of paper and put that in there. Yeah, and then that, it's just loose in there, and it doesn't matter the size, you know. It can be a bigger piece of ephemera, like, you know, a note paper, however big I want it, and it can hang out the side. But what happens is then that can fold around this journal paper, and I've got 2 pockets, a tuck, and all this journaling space. That's a lot of real estate, writing real estate, you know, in just kind of a thin element. And of course I can decorate this further. This is another journal that I'm working on decorating, and here is this fancy fold that I want to show you. So I can just use a smaller something there, and then I will want probably to put some kind of a clip on it on the side so that it doesn't fall out, especially once I get stuff in it. You know, it gets a little heavier, then it flops around a little, so I can put a little pin on it. This is what I want to show you today. I'm calling it a triple fancy fold pocket. So, and it's just easy, which is what I love about all of the fancy folds that I use in my journals. They're just really, really easy to make. So it just starts as a piece of paper. I turn it to the side and fold it up. You can fold it any size you want. And then I've put a little bit of washi tape here along the edge. You can see that. And then I fold it over and fold it over and clip it on. So that's pretty easy, okay? And there's all kinds of papers that this really lends itself to, really a lot of different papers. So let me show you a couple different ones. So this is an old piece of, you know, that funny stationery that you sometimes get to send Christmas letters, whatever you have. Yeah, so I just put it this way. This has been tea dyed. Fold it up, fold it over. And so on this one, you can fold it so that the fancy is on the inside or the outside, either one. But then I kind of folded this down just to create some interest and put a little sticker there, okay? On this one, this is just a piece of notebook paper with these holes in the side. And so I just tea dyed it and then turn it over, and I fold it up and I fold it over and fold it over. And then it just gets a little clip, right? Yep. And on this one, I just pulled some chiffon ribbon through those holes, and that makes it a little more decorative. And on the outside, if I wanted, I could do some stamping or some stenciling or some other decoration like a sticker or something, right? Okay, so other papers, I'm going to show you how to do it on this music manuscript. I got this beautiful autumn looking wrapping paper in the thrift store the other day. So I'm going to use that in one of my next journals, my autumn journal. Oversized papers of all kinds are really perfect for this because you can just fold it up. And then if you wanted, if it was too much for a trifold, this is going to be, you know, pretty thick if I use it for, you know, a trifold. But then I can do one of the other fancy folds, and this is in the playlist. This fold, you can fold it over 4 times, make 4. I mean, it's folded over 3 times, but then you get this little waterfall edge on the side. Or you can, like the other one, you can do 2. So no matter, the important thing is this fold on the bottom. So you fold it up, and then you fold it over. So when you're folding the third, you know you want to go about halfway between this point and this point. That's how you kind of get the thirds. Make a good fold there, and then come around and fold it back over this way. Okay, so that's what it is. That's the fancy fold. Now let me show you. Let's go back. So the other things that I got out to show you, it would be great for maps. These maps have to be conditioned because they are so folded from rolling up. But oversized things, you know, it would be so cute to take one of these papers from this Christmas book. And so I'm going to use this ripped edge here and fold it up. And since this is kind of oversized, I mean, that's, I don't know how wide the pages for my book might be, so I'm going to do the waterfall edge, I think. So we'll make a fold there and a fold there. And then I can put all kinds of little bits of ephemera in these pockets. I just love the idea of fancy folds. I hope you do too. And if this video has been useful, would you please give me a thumbs up? I'd appreciate it. And check out the playlist if you want to see other ideas. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I always appreciate your time and your likes and comments. That helps me out. I will see you again with a new project.